Hello everyone. For the lab this week, we are going to cover file and file system forensics. Now, what are file and file system forensics? In your cybersecurity career, if you choose to pursue it, oftentimes we have to gather data. Either we are looking for operational intelligence through open source intelligence gathering, we are exfiltrating important data that we have received through an exploit, by going after vulnerability at an organization. Oftentimes you see this in the real world where foreign corporations will try and extract trade secret information outside of a company, research work, etc., etc. So a little bit of fun for this week. In your GitHub assignment, we have a folder, Bruce Wayne files, and in this lab you are working for the Gotham Times and you're trying to discover if Bruce Wayne is truly Batman. So we've exfiltrated some files and they're included in your lab, and you're going to use Python file forensics. So the path object that you learned about, the OS module, and the various attributes and methods on each of those, to find the string Batman within one of the files and prove it. So here is on the screen almost all the files you're going to get. You're not going to get the solution file. So file forensics.py, this is the Python file that you will work out of, and we'll come back to this in a minute. We have the README file, which contains the information about the steps in the lab that you will be working on, as well as this folder, Bruce Wayne files. And in this folder, we see a bunch of files. This might look familiar from the videos this week, but inside there's a secret document file. And if we open any of these, so if we open boring document, it's just lorem ipsum text, it's just junk. But in one of these documents, in secret document, he admits it. He's Batman. So, very important. One of these documents contains the word Batman. So, you're going to use what you've learned along with some of the stuff from previous weeks, so loops and searching for text within strings, to prove it through Python that Bruce Wayne really is Batman. So, there's 4 main steps in the code. But let's walk through what this looks like. So I have a command prompt, and I'm going to run Python file forensics solution. And it's going to ask me what is the path to the Bruce Wayne folder. So this is the first step. So I'm going to paste the list, the location of where the files are. So just so you know, this location could be somewhere different on your computer. So if we look here on my computer, it's the V drive, week 06 template, Bruce Wayne file. So I'm copying this and I'm pasting it into the command prompt here. So take note, don't just copy this string here. Go ahead and find it where the folder is on your system and type it in here. After I hit enter, oh no, he's Batman. We're going to list all the files we found in that folder. So boring document.txt, eggs.txt, hello.txt, secret_document.txt, and spam.txt. You'll see that should correlate to the files within this folder. So we're going to accept the path string from the user. We're going to convert it to a path object. We're going to iterate through all of the files and display them to the screen. And then we're going to look inside every file, and we're going to see, is the word capital B Batman in that file? And if it is, you're going to display to the screen that you found him. So how does this look in code? I've already imported the required modules for you. So from PathLib, we're importing Path, and we're going to import OS. Not a lot of code for you to work off of this week, but I've given you all the solutions in the videos, as well as here's the solution for finding Batman in the string. Your variable name might vary. It might not be file contents, but the concept is here. So in part 1, it's an input. So variable my file name equals input. What is the file name? So ask the user. Go back, if you don't remember, go back to the other videos, back to the other lab solutions. That's part 1. It's one line. Part 2, also one line. You're going to create a variable and set it equal to a new path object. Remember from this week, you call path, open parentheses, and then you put in whatever string. That's one possibility. What do we get from the user? A string. So there's your one line for part 2. Part 3, in my solution, I've done it in 3 lines. You're going to list all the files in the folder. So how do you do that? Well, os.listdir accepts a string, and it outputs a list of strings for each of the files in a folder. So you would create a variable that's a list, possibly call it files, and set it equal to os.listdir. And we have a path object that we receive from the user. Got to convert that to a string, and it will list all the files in the directory. Once you have a list of files, what do? You use a for loop. So for files and files, possibly. And for each of those files, what did we do here? We found one of his files, and then the file name. So that's what you should do for part 3. Part 4, this is going to be probably the most complicated. I have 5 lines of code. The first line is, we're again going to iterate through every file and file, so it's a for loop. It's your first line, and then you have to create a path object. So within the for loop, what I did, I created a new path object variable. So I call it Bruce Wayne file equals the folder, and then you concatenate the file name. How do you concatenate paths? Remember, /. And then you want to read the file. There's 2 ways to read the file that we went over this week. Go with the simpler one. Read text. That's all you need to do. Set a variable equal to that file.readText. It's a function or method. So remember your open and close parentheses. And then finally, I've given you the last 2 lines of part 4. Your variable name might vary, but we see it here as well in the solution. I want to know what file it came from, though. So remember, this is a for loop, so you know what file you're in, and you'll be able to tell me, because that if statement will resolve to true. So that is this week's lab. All the files should work this week. So let me know if you have any issues, and good luck.